What's going on, guys? K-Pine here and welcome back. And in this video, I'll be featuring a double bear team in the Ultra League's Holiday Cup. Yeah, you heard that right, double bear, with Beware and Ursaring. I think it goes without saying this is definitely more of a team for fun instead of climbing, but let me tell you, boy was it fun. The Beware safe swap caught so many ghost types lacking with the payback, and Ursaring close combat does so much damage. I used this team for 3 days and won less than half my battles, where despite this team not being the best, I'll be featuring two very entertaining 4-1 sets with the team. And with that, let's get right into the battles. Alright, getting to the first battle, we lead Shadow Dragonite into Ludicolo. Now this is a pretty decent lead for us, as we do resist both their charge moves in Water Weather Ball and Leaf Storm, but these Astonishes do add up over time, so after landing the superpower, we're going to pivot into Beware, put up a shield to respect the potential Leaf Storm, of which it is, so that's a fantastic shield, and my opponent pivots into Skeledirge. Oh, I don't think they know. Do you think they know? Is the payback going to land? Massive damage, down goes Skeledirge. They did not know. In comes Raikou, and now we're in a pretty good winning position here because of all this energy on the Beware. Gonna do one Shadow Claw and then the superpower. This will do some massive damage onto the Raikou if they let it go. If they don't, another Shadow Claw and then the superpower. Now we're going to pivot into Dragonite to force their energy, and in doing so, we're just going to get a nice Shadow Claw down with the Ursaring. As you'll see right here, wait out the clock, get the Shadow Claw down. They do not quite reach that Aura Sphere, as 6 Shadow Claws is the perfect amount of damage. Back in comes the Ludicolo, and now we're just going to spam off these Swifts. At this point, there's nothing the Ludicolo can do, as Swift number 1 gets their final shield and Swift number 2 will get the knockout. GG's. Next battle, Shadow Dragonite into Cetitan. Absolutely atrociously for us. We're going to swap it to Beware. And what makes this even worse is that Cetitan now has superpower, so my opponent gets a free superpower and dip. But there's no point in shielding this because my opponent will just be able to force switch if I go down a shield, and if I end up giving up a shield, then it can land a superpower against my Ursaring in the back if I flip switch, or really land the Icicle Spears and do the massive Powder Snow damage to the Dragonite if I don't. So I was forced to let that move go. We get a nice farm down of the Ampharos, which is good. So now we can superpower and dip, bring in Ursaring, and we have a shield advantage here. So I will give up a shield to respect the superpower, which it is. And now my opponent pivots into their own Ludicolo. So I'm going to go for Swift to start. This will do some good shit to the Ludicolo. And now we're just going to start spamming out more Swifts. A lot of the goal with this team is when you safe swap Beware and they come in with a little bit of an answer, I don't really like shielding it unless I need to force switch, because as you're going to see here, Ursaring with the shield advantage is quite the sweeper. Correctly shield the Leaf Storm, which allows us to tank that Weather Ball no problem, leave with a bajillion energy. Close combat number 1 gets their shield, but now they're all out of shields. This close combat's gonna land. Cetitan long gone. Back in comes the Ludicolo. We get the Shadow Claw down, and that is a good game. GG's. Next battle, Skeledirge Lead. Gonna stay in here with the Shadow Dragonite and throw a Thunder Punch after 14 Dragon Breaths, but they pivot out into a Ufisk, so we're gonna superpower and then dip ourselves. The Ursaring is glassy, but it is not too glassy where 2 moves from the Ufisk will knock it out, so we will comfortably tank both of them, build up more energy, play to the CMP tie with the Swift, where even though Ufisk is bolty, Ursaring's attack stat is huge, where even a Swift will KO from there. In comes an Obstagoon, and Obstagoon's gonna have to shield here, otherwise it's just gonna be deleted from the scene. So they end up giving up their first shield, and that puts me in a great spot, because not only do I have a shield advantage where that guarantees Beware will be able to take out the Skeledirge, but Dragonite has such a dominant matchup against the Obstagoon there, where we can just take it out with a superpower just as easily. They land a Torch Song. We're gonna throw our payback before they reach their next Torch Song, which does get their final shield. And in doing that, this match is just over. Because I can let the Bewear go, Shadow Dragonite will come in, load up on tons of energy. They will reach another Torch Song right here, but that's fine because I just get myself to the back-to-back moves, or at least very close to it. We just get to the back-to-back moves, as Thunder Punch will take out the Skeledirge, and then we have the superpower for the Obstagoon. So superpower comes through, basically one-shots the Obstagoon, and that is a good game. Next battle, Shadow Dragonite into Togekiss, and yeah, you know, Togekiss isn't exactly great for this team. Here I swap into Bewear just because like, oh, I don't know what to do against this, but I think this was actually my very first set with the team too, where I came out with a good 4-1 set with the team, and I was like, oh wow, maybe this is actually the sauce, maybe it works. But let me tell you, it was kind of only down from there, besides a couple other good sets over the next few days. But seeing that Togekiss made me realize that it's a big soft spot to it. If I was to play this match again, probably would have just stayed in with the Dragonite, landed a Thunder Punch, or if they shielded the Thunder Punch, traded shields, played out the 2 shield, you know, something of the sort. But here we have Ursaring into Dusknoir, and Ursaring's entire moveset is charge moveset is resisted here, so I really have no win condition left. But it was a tough one to start anyways. But yeah, GG's there. Next battle, Shadow Dragonite into Shadow Raikou. Now this is going to be a battle of spice considering my back line, and they're using a Shadow Raikou. I mean, how often do you see that? We go for the Thunder Punch bait. My opponent does shield it, so it pays off for us. And at this point, I feel like Dragonite did his job. I got the shield advantage. I can come in with Bewear. I could shield. I could Shadow Claw down, and everything's all great. But they pivot out. They want to save their Raikou, which is a good call. Come in with Corviknight, land an Air Cutter, and now I'm at the back-to-back superpowers. So I'm just gonna dip or throw both of these and then dip into the Ursaring, because I do not want my Bewear to be in Air Cutter range yet. So now I reset those debuffs, and I will be able to survive another Air Cutter in the end game if it's needed. But it looks like my opponent is just staying in with the Corviknight here and happy to chip the Ursaring first. They come back in with the Raikou, so I'm happy to force their final shield with the Swift. And in doing so, I have a vision. Just gonna 2 shield farm down this Raikou, and whatever they have in the back is gonna be met by an onslaught of close combats. So down goes Raikou. They have a Kyurem, so I'm gonna load up on energy, fire off this close combat. Let's see how much damage this does. One shots the Kyurem. Goodbye. They come back in with Corviknight. We have the Swift loaded, and even a resisted Swift is enough to take out a Corviknight from there. GG's. Next battle, Shadow Dragonite into Lickilicky. We're going to superpower after 11 Dragon Breaths and then dip into Bewear. If they shield, that is perfectly fine. If they no shield, that is great as well. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping for a shield because I have no fast move pressure against it, unless they pivot out. So given that they pivoted out here, that works out well. But if they were to stay in, then that could have been detrimental, since I would have to debuff myself all the way out of superpower. But yet again, another Skeledirge comes in to meet Bewear, gets nuked by that payback, doesn't even reach a move. Goodbye. Back in comes Lickilicky. We superpower that, and Bewear just putting on an absolute clinic in this match, where they come back in Jellicent, and now we just 2-shield the Dragonite, and this is going to be a GG's. Ursaring's not even going to need to see the field. Let me tell you, I would never have thought I would 2v3 a team using this team, but it just happened. So shield number 2 with the Thunder Punch. We give up the second shield ourselves. It is just a Surf, but it would take out the Dragonite from there, and we reach the third and final Thunder Punch to take out the Jellicent. GG's. Next battle, we lead Shadow Dragonite into Lapras. Great lead for us. since we do resist the Surf, they're going to pivot into a Belly Bolt. So we're going to Superpower and then dip into the Beware. We notice it is Sucker Punch, so Beware will resist its fast move, which is very nice. And now they're going to chip us with the Parabolic Charge. And that is perfectly fine because I'm going to load up on energy myself. And then once I get to the back-to-back superpowers, I'm going to fire both of these off because I do not want the Belly Bolt to buff up its defense more with yet another Parabolic Charge. Now, add an attack drop from us and a defense boost from them. That second superpower will not be enough to KO. That is fine. It just gives more energy to the Dragonite. And we have the shield advantage. So if my opponent brought in their third and saved their Lapras for the back, it's on my Ursaring. And you know it's getting one shot by a close combat. But in comes Lapras. We land a Thunder Punch. So now we'll give up a shield in return. Over far more, my opponent tries to make a Thunder Punch catch onto their Obstagoon, but this Obstagoon's going to have a very rough day as Superpower wipes it from the field. That would be enough to take out a whole family of Obstagoon. We pivot into Beware, and it would be pretty cool if I could land a close combat here, but my opponent's just going to top left before I get to a move. And the double bear team putting in work once again. GG's. Next battle, another Lickilicky Lead. We know what to do here. Superpower and then dip into the Beware. See, my opponent wants to give up a shield or let it go like they did last time. They're going to let it go again. So we're going to pivot back to the Beware, hope they swap out, which they do. And they come in with a Lapras, which is very, very surprising to me. Because if Beware is on the field, it's always going to have Superpower. In no instance is it going to run Stomp and Payback. It's always going to have Superpower in its moveset. So first Superpower does land, second one gets their shield, and that's fine because now I can come in Dragonite and I can either shield here and get a nice farm down, which this wasn't enough for a Skull Bash, so I was counting on it being Sparkling Aria. It was an Ice Beam, and even then that's fine because as you'll see here, I just shield this and Ursaring's gonna get a nasty farm down. This can only be a body slam, but they end up going for a Shadow Ball, so I'm not sure if they forgot which side the charge move was on. Either way, we definitely take that as the first Swift does get a shield from the Lickilicky. Second Swift takes it out, and if my opponent's bringing in Lickilicky, they gotta have something weak to fighting in the back. If they do, it's an Aurorus, and you saw the Superpower earlier taking out a whole family of Obstagoon. This one's gonna take out a whole village of Aurorus. Close combat deletes it from the field, and we get the Shadow Claw down of a Lapras. GG's. Next battle, Shadow Dragonite into yet another Lickilicky. We are absolutely enjoying all these Lickilicky leads, where you know the drill by now. Superpower and dip. The previous two Lickilickys like to no-shield the Superpower. This one is no different. They no-shield it and then pivot into a Jellicent. And just like with the Skeledirges, I don't think they know. I don't think they know I'm running Payback on the Beware. We tank the Surf, fire off this Payback. Is it gonna land? If it does, it'll do massive damage. It does. And guess what? We're in a great spot here. They have a high rank Jellicent, so I'm not able to get that farm down. Either way, Beware survives both the Surfs, so we're cool. But if they don't have a high rank Jellicent, you will get that farm down, which is even better. Now they come in with Obstagoon, and they just can't shield everything. We saw Superpower land earlier in the match. We got the Payback to land on the Jellicent. They shielded the Superpower for my Beware right there. I come in Dragonite, and we got more fighting moves where it's from. They catch, I go for the Thunder Punch, take out the Lickilicky, and oh no, this Obstagoon's gonna be in for a bad way. As you'll see here, not the Night Slash, but another Superpower taking out the Obstagoon. And again, we don't even need to use the Ursaring. Shadow Dragonite and Beware doing the heavy lifting in this one. GG's. Next battle, Shadow Dragonite into Zekrom. Now this is an interesting lead. My opponent loving the spice too. I'm going for a Thunder Punch bait, and if the Thunder Punch bait is successful, this is going to be a very good matchup for me because I can shield their Crunch and farm down and leave with a move stored and get switch advantage. But they get the defense drop, and I can no longer farm down the Zekrom. So that changes the whole perspective of this game, especially considering that they have a Togekiss. If I was able to leave with a move stored and get switch advantage, and they came in Togekiss, potentially I'd be in a lot better spot and a possible chance to win, because I would do good damage or get their final shield with a Thunder Punch. But since they got the crunch drop, changes the whole aspect of the game. And, you know, Togekiss is already hard enough for this team to deal with. So kind of just going to throw in the towel at this point, where we do get to the Swift to take out the Togekiss. And I'm like, oh, they overfarmed a little bit, played to the CMP tie, but they do not win that. I was hoping, is there something Ursaring can one-shot in the back here? It's not. It's a Galarian Moltres. So we won't be able to take this one, but just for science, want to see how much that close combat does quite a hefty amount of damage, considering the Ursaring is non-shadow, and my opponent does take that one. GG's. So there you see, we do lock down the 4-1 set, and like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, definitely not a team that I recommend if you want to do well, but it's most certainly a team I recommend you use to have a ton of fun with during this interlude season. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Love to hear what you have to say. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.